Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Curious Kingdom. Today we are recapping the Cobbler. In 1903, on the Lower East Side of New York City, a gathering of Jewish men took place in a cobbler shop. They faced a pressing issue as their businesses and families struggled due to a man named Gergerman, who had raised the rent, forcing many people into difficult situations. Seeking assistance, they approached Pincus Simpkin, the cobbler, but he claimed that Gergerman was not his client. Nevertheless, Pincus was handed a pair of Gergerman's shoes, which he took to the store's basement to fix on a special stitching machine, a cherished gift from his father, meant for special occasions. Fast forward to the present, where Max Simpkin, Pincus' great-grandson, continues the family trade as a cobbler in the same small shop on the Lower East Side. He shares a friendly rapport with Jimmy, the neighboring barber. One day, Carmen Herrera, from the Lower East Side Action Committee, visits the shop, advocating against big developer companies that are demolishing parts of the neighborhood for shopping malls and luxury housing. Max, however, seems uninterested in preserving the area, as he is dissatisfied with his role as a cobbler and wishes for a different path. Max lists living with his sick and elderly mother and finds himself disillusioned by the family business. Carmen persuades him to attend a committee meeting to discuss the eviction of an elderly man, and though reluctant, he agrees. Max's mother suggests he call a girl she knows, but he dismisses the idea as the girl is already married with children. She appears out of touch with reality, which adds to Max's frustrations. During his routine workday, a local thug, Leon Ludlow, brings his shoes for repair, pressuring Max to complete the job urgently. When Max's state-of-the-art machine malfunctions, he resorts to using the old stitching machine from his family's heritage. It is the same machine Pincus used long ago. When Max tries on Ludlow's shoes out of boredom, something extraordinary happens. He transforms into Ludlow himself. Shocked and terrified, Max quickly takes off the shoes and returns to his normal state. The unexpected turn of events leaves him puzzled and apprehensive. Max, intrigued by the transformative power of the old stitching machine, decides to lock up his workshop to conduct further experiments in private. He discovers that wearing other people's shoes allows him to metamorphose into exact replicas of those individuals. His appearance, voice, and even accent change accordingly. After trying on various clients' shoes, he realizes that the machine only works with shoes stitched on it. Excited about this newfound ability, Max transforms into different people, even encountering a deceased man's image in the mirror. Amused by the experience, Max tests his transformations with a TV reporter, using the reporter's identity to gain insights into a career he admires. Curious about the possibility, he tries on numerous customers' shoes and ventures out in their personas, taking advantage of his newfound abilities to enjoy free meals at restaurants and adopt various roles in public. One night, Max transforms into a wealthy individual and takes a joyride in an expensive car. He revels in the excitement of being someone else and begins to contemplate the implications of his transformative powers. Upon returning home, Max surprises his mother with flowers and engages her in a conversation about her deepest desires. She expresses her contentment with being a mother and wishes to have dinner with her late husband, Max's father. The next day, a beautiful girl from the neighborhood visits Max's workshop, seeking shoe repairs. Max has long been interested in her, but she is dating a wealthy man. Using the stitching machine, Max takes on the appearance of a charming young man and enjoys a brief encounter with another girl at a bar. However, things become complicated when he struggles to revert to his true self while trying to escape a potentially awkward situation. As Max watches a TV news report covering a protest against the eviction of elderly tenants in the Lower East Side, he recognizes Carmen, the woman who persuaded him to attend the committee meeting. The following day, he meets Carmen outside his shop, and she commends him for supporting local businesses by buying pickles from a vendor. Suddenly, Carmen realizes they need more signatures for the petition and asks if Max's father can sign it. However, Max reveals that his father left a long time ago and is no longer around. As she bids farewell, she encourages Max to attend their meetings and join the committee. Max does attend the meetings, but disguises himself as a teenager, observing Carmen from outside the window. When Carmen notices him and gestures for him to come in, Max becomes frightened and decides to leave. Later that evening, after closing the shop, Max repairs the soles of his father's old shoes, puts them on, and looks at his father's reflection in the mirror. He sets up a dinner for two at home, pretending to be his father, and shares a heartfelt meal with his mother. They talk and even dance together. The next morning, Max returns to his true self, only to discover that his mother has passed away. Following the funeral, Max arranges a dinner gathering, and Jimmy is among the attendees. Jimmy praises Max's efforts and notes that his mother would have appreciated the gesture. Max admits that his father's absence has complicated his life, and he feels regretful about the way he has handled things. A week later, after the mourning period ends, Max encounters Ludlow, who is unhappy about the delayed shoe pickup. Ludlow is rude, even after learning about Max's mother's passing. In response, Max demands payment and issues Ludlow a ticket to sing. Ludlow threatens Max, demanding his shoes by the next day. Max decides to take revenge on Ludlow, following him and transforming his appearance to remain unnoticed. While following Ludlow, Max witnesses him harassing a store's employees. Later, Max transforms into Ludlow and enters his apartment. There, he finds Macy, Ludlow's girlfriend, who is fed up with his abusive behavior and plans to leave him. In search of Ludlow's watch collection, Max stumbles upon a stash of guns and accidentally knocks himself out with a stun gun. Upon waking up, Max transforms back into Ludlow and confronts the real Ludlow at the door. They fight, and Max eventually subdues Ludlow with the stun gun, tying him up. As a teenager, Max explains that he needs to do something for his mother and that he is not a bad person. Ludlow adamantly refuses to talk, prompting Max to transform into another image to continue searching for the watch collection. He ultimately locates the watches. Just as Max is about to use the stun gun on Ludlow again, the thug's associates arrive at the door. Realizing they need to collect $50,000, Max decides to impersonate Ludlow once more to take the money for himself. Pretending to be Ludlow, he goes on a dangerous mission with the thugs, visiting various locations and engaging in criminal activities. During these events, Max interferes to prevent the shooting of a man and even meets Elaine, the ruthless slumlord. She hands him an envelope filled with money to buy out a property. When Max returns to Ludlow's apartment, he discovers that Ludlow has managed to escape and threatens him with a gun. In the struggle, Max accidentally kills Ludlow with a high-heeled shoe. Frightened and shocked, he flees the scene without taking the money or watches. Overwhelmed by guilt, Max turns himself into the police, confessing to the accidental murder. However, when the police investigate the crime scene, all evidence, including the body and the bag with shoes and money, has mysteriously disappeared. Max is released, and he finds the shoe bag and envelope back in his shop. Max returns the money to Elaine, transforming into another person and explaining that Ludlow gave it to him. Unsatisfied with Max's explanation, Elaine orders her men to knock him out, but he escapes, transforming into a dead man by donning his shoes and scaring the thugs. Max then informs Carmen, a member of the action committee, about Elaine's plans to evict tenants and burn down a building. Learning that Elaine's company owns the building, Max decides to confront her. He transforms into an elderly man, Mr. Solomon, who is the last remaining occupant. Max proposes to leave the apartment if he receives a substantial sum of money and a bus ticket to Chicago. Elaine agrees, but when her thugs arrive at Solomon's apartment, Max uses his transformative abilities to cause their shoes to disappear, thwarting their plans. One of Elaine's men puts Solomon on a bus to Chicago to be with his daughter, while the other guards the empty building. Unaware of Max's transformative abilities, the thug mistakes him for Ludlow and follows him into Solomon's vacant apartment. Max knocks out the thug with a stun gun, takes on his appearance, and waits for Elaine until the morning. The next day, Elaine encounters Carmen leaving the building and learns that Mr. Solomon never left his apartment. The thug who was supposed to escort Solomon to Chicago is arrested by the police, while Solomon heads to see his daughter. Max, disguised as Solomon, refuses to leave the apartment despite Elaine's threats. Unbeknownst to Elaine, Max has arranged for a TV journalist to secretly film their conversation. With evidence against Elaine, she is arrested a few days later, and Max reads about her arrest in the newspaper. Carmen visits Max at his shop, thanking him for helping Mr. Solomon and inviting him to dinner. He accepts the invitation, still posing as Ludlow. Max returns the watches to his ex and apologizes to her before leaving. As Max exits, he is kidnapped by a group of men, led by the man he saved earlier. However, their escape plan is interrupted when a truck crashes into their cars. Max regains consciousness in Jimmy's barber shop, where Jimmy offers him water and a pickle, hinting that he knows about Max's transformative abilities. He reveals that he took care of dead body he left behind earlier, and was always looking after him. To Max's surprise, Jimmy reveals himself as Max's long-lost father, while real Jimmy has been vacationing in the Caribbean for years. He tells Max that he made some mistakes due to which he is forced to live a life in hiding. Max is both happy and angry at the revelation, and they share an emotional reunion. Max's father shows him a vast collection of shoes he has gathered over the years, indicating his wealth. Together, they ride through the night in a limousine, starting a new chapter in their lives. Through his journey, Max learns valuable life lessons and discovers the true meaning of responsibility and the importance of walking in someone else's shoes, both figuratively and literally. That's all for today, folks. Like, share, and subscribe for more such content. Curious Knight signing off. Stay safe, stay curious.